Claire, I want to get your opinion on something. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, as far as this is 3 in a row for us, for women in tech, and I guess I'm noting it because it doesn't happen very often. And I brought it up with Diane and with Sandy, and they both had different views, and I feel like I'm not even asking the right question sometimes. And maybe you can tell me the question I should be asking, but Sandy last week from IBM said that in the States, actually, like, computer science enrollment for gender, for girls, is down, like, in the younger years. And Diane was saying we need to get women coding early on. We had Claire Sutcliffe from Code Club here, and she does all sorts of programs getting people started earlier. I mean, what do you say when people say women in tech? Are we asking the right questions, or should we be talking about different things? And what do you see from the top of your organization? Very broad question.
Yeah, big question. Lately, I'm not the only woman in the room. There are several others around the table, which is exciting.
Okay.
And we wink at each other from across the room. I think there's certainly an education piece, and there's certainly a piece of work to be done by larger organizations who need to champion and promote their internal teams, their women, into higher positions of management and leadership. So I think there's some professional development work to be done by large corporations. I think startups need to also play a role here. We see such a rich tech startup scene in London, but unfortunately, it's often a group of guys, a small group of guys, and it's really important that very early on in the development of not only the company, but the product itself needs the female perspective. It needs the female perspective built into the UI, into the functionality. If we expect 50% of your users to be this customer base, then let's represent that in the build and in the decision-making part of your organization. So I think we need to acknowledge that good business hygiene and good technical hygiene must involve women at the table. I think we need to talk about it in the UK more. I think we need to share the salary discrepancies. I think we should be more open and we should say to each other, this has been my experience. I actually have experienced sexism. I have experienced discrimination, and this has been my experience, and I think we should be open with that. I think sometimes we don't like to talk about it. A lot of women don't like to talk about it because they don't. I don't want you to brand me as a woman in tech. I want you to brand me as a founder, as a CEO, as a businesswoman, as a business person, I suppose, because I don't want you to have that filter on me at all times.
Yeah, Sheryl Sandberg, who wrote, Lean In, Facebook, is she the COO or whatever she does there? But she said even she was like, can I talk about this? Can I talk about that I'm a mother? Can I talk about all these other demands? And, she's the top of her game, in the top of, tech. But she was still, unsure about coming out, and then she was happy that she did. So is there a big stigmatism just even to talk about it?
To talk about it, yeah. And I think sometimes women struggle with talking about the issue directly, and then actually asking for change. So we experience it, but let's try and come up with a solution. Let's actually look at the problem. Maybe the problem is you're being paid 20% less than your colleague who does the same job, or maybe even you have a higher job and you're paid less than he does. I think you need to look at that with a business lens and have a business conversation, a tough business conversation with your manager, with your organization, to say, this doesn't make sense. I would like something done about it.
Don't miss London Real. Subscribe now.
How can anybody sign up, publish an event, and start selling tickets in a matter of minutes. We love the notion of people gathering. We really thought about low friction. We want to be that cable TV of live experiences. We basically broke all the startup rules. It's fairly insane to go into a business venture with your fiance. My advice, to any 20-year-old or fledgling entrepreneur is to not listen to their parents. Do something really incredible.